Hey everyone, I'm just in a position where I'm coming out of a meeting and realize that I do not understand SolanaVM at all. So I've decided that I'm going to take SolanaVM apart. I'm going to try to understand how does this work? How do I compile things for it? How do I run things in it? Without a blockchain and all of that nonsense, I just want to have a basic understanding on how do I actually invoke specific functions. So what I gathered is it works a little bit like EVM, but other than that, I actually have very little clue. So in this live stream, we're going to use some AI and try to work out exactly how we can figure out what exactly this mystery of a machine does. So here I have Claude, and I'm going to ask Claude to come up with a plan, because I honestly have zero plans on how to do this and very little idea on what to actually do. And it starts out by drafting something, like we want to build this in Rust. So basically what I would like to do is I would like to build a small example where I compile a Solana program and I run it step by step in the Solana VM in Rust. And then I want to be able to monitor the memory, the registers, all of these things, and just get a basic understanding on how does this actually work? What does it mean when I'm invoking different programs and all of that? And just see if I can get some basic simulation up going on that. So I see we're getting pretty far on constructing some outline here for me. See, okay. Like this looks completely doable. I think I can do this. Like what's that? 700 lines of code. And okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. So what is the first step? We're just going to copy this across. And where's my terminal? Here. So that's the executor. And that has, what does it want me to do here? It wants me to make a readme or not? No, it wants me to make a right. This is, why didn't it write a sh command for this? Okay. So you'll notice I don't use any agents for any of this, because I think agents are causing more harm than good in most of the cases. I like to go through the steps myself so that I understand what actually happened, when it happened, and why it happened. And so wait, is this even right what I'm doing here? I don't think it is. SolanaVM project. Okay, so it puts everything in there, but okay, right. Okay, let's just do this over again. This is obviously wrong. Right, rm minus rf star. Yeah. And what did we run to start with here? Yeah, okay, so we need this to go away, right? Yes, this looks more right. Cool. So then this needs to have a bunch of different things. So rather than adding the specific versions, I'd like to just use cargo to add these things. Makes things up to date, and that we're not using some dependencies from 5 years ago or whenever the memory cutoff of this LLM is. So one thing that actually hit me is that understanding this seems like it has applications way beyond just doing blockchain, right? You could use this for making a system for making plugins in your application. Okay, so let's see, what does it, then it has, did we not create that already? We did create that already. And then we need to copy this across. So that. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The crate that it uses here is way outdated, which probably is going to constitute some problem, because that also means that its knowledge about the package is way outdated. All right. But anyway, let's just try this out and see what we get out of it. Like, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So that was oh, it needs to be a lib file. It is a lib file. Okay, cool. Did we copy everything across? Entry point. That all seems good. Process instruction. Oh, I see. I actually didn't realize that. So this is basically, when it says entry point, it really means, so this is the equivalent of the program counter 0. Oh, interesting. Right. I'm pretty sure that there's something here that is way simpler than I thought it to be. So I had this idea that when you deploy a Solana program, you have a vtable, you have an API and all of these things, and it would look things up in the vtable, and it appears that actually what's going on is way simpler, right? It has this entry point, and I wonder, probably this is a fixed function signature, so you can't change it. And like, I might be wrong about this, so don't take any of this as the ground truth. But this is my current understanding of how things are working. But let's see. Right, because then this makes sense from what I understood from the meeting I just had. Like, you have this main program where you would be switching on what the function is that you're trying to invoke, and you would have an enum to do that. Which, that just seems ridiculously simple. Like, I'd expect something much. Oh, and I need to add a custom target. No, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Okay. Let's just see what happens if we do this. Okay, so the program builds. But this thing doesn't work. So what happens if we would do build BP? That probably doesn't work either, right? Because this looks like it would be a custom cargo command. It does have a SBF, which oh, SBF. Let's just see. Which kind of rings a bell. Yeah, just looking at the Solana documentation, build SBF is definitely the one we want to have, and that creates a .so file. And we should be able to execute that one. Oh, we can do this. What does that do? I've never tried that before. Okay, that just runs the tests. Okay, getting back to this. So we have built something now. There should be a .so file somewhere. Let's have a look at what the documentation says. Just for the sake of following, like, this is where I am in the documentation. Oh, wait. Okay, and here we go. That's our .so file. So we have this .so file, the instructions in Claude are not entirely correct, but good enough that we could get going. But I think this is a very good example of a place where an agent would just completely mess up, because it would have all this old information. It would start writing out all of these things that doesn't work. And instead we have a tutorial we can go through and we can manually correct for the things it doesn't do right. Then it has a ton of stuff here. Let's just assume that is correct and see what happens. Well, something about it that is so. So it's not under deploy though, is it? It was under release somewhere. Right, and it was inside the program folder here. Oh, I see. So it actually just tries a bunch of different places. So program, simple program, and then we're just going to replace this one because that's where we know it to be. And we don't need the two other ones. So no binary available for this. Oh, that's because we're still inside the simple program. Okay. Right. Let's see. Okay, tons of stuff is compiling, and we are waiting, very, very excited to see how this is turning out. Let's just see, what is the next step after 4? Yeah, okay, then we are done once that's running, right? Almost there. And of course it doesn't compile, because this is an oh, maybe it's just as simple as this. Otherwise, I would anyway expect that it doesn't compile, because versions are just so massively different from what versions we used for Solana, and what versions the VM assumes we would be using in Solana. Right, and even so, there are still things that does not compile here. I thought, is that not the one we just imported? Maybe it isn't. I thought it was. Okay, this is confusing. So we import this one and it complains that it doesn't exist. We don't import it. Maybe that one ought to be just under, let's see, might be that it's a private thing that's re-exported from account. Okay, so that it is. Yeah, there is a bunch of things here that are just not right. Let's just try to see if we get lucky. Right, there's a bunch of things, and that's the bank. This function was okay, but the three first arguments in this call seems okay. So maybe that will do the trick. Right, and that one needs an ampersand in front of it. Of course, we're passing a reference. And then this one, 152. Same thing again. And then 76. Oh, right, same thing again. What line was this? 138. Right, data space. I don't know. So that must be the amount of space that you can use in the account. Let's just be generous. It feels like there was still one place we had to do the update. Yeah, here. Oh, wait. Let's just do 10 megabytes as well. Yeah, okay. Then there's still something not right here. Let's deal with that in just a bit. Probably get the error message out here. Okay, one error left to deal with. Let's bank new with paths. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we still need to supply another 3 arguments. Should we guess that they are none, none, and none? And was this even the right place? 75. Yeah, it's an Genesis has. That feels like that would not be none. Let's see what it says. "76 atomic ball." Right, that does require that we import them. Hey, it actually ran. Nice. So we loaded the program, we are initializing the SVM environment, and then something broke down, but hey, you can't win them all, can you? Genesis processing failed because no staked nodes. Like, what does this even mean? Why does it do that? I don't really care. So it's during initialization, set up SVM environment. Let's see who's more helpful, Claude or Google. It might be helpful just to see the file. Okay. Where is the copy file? This looks like a great context. So there are some suggestions in this context on how to solve this. Oh wait, what is this now? Genesis config. Create a Genesis. Where does this even come from? So we did that all along. And well, the old one took the Genesis concept. No vote in it. Okay. Right. I'm not even sure what this means. It seems to be related to staking, that the VM somehow requires you to have votes associated with the bank, but why? I don't know. Anyway, this is not really what we are trying to understand here. What I really want to understand is how does the VM run and work? There is not even such a function. So that's clearly not working out in our favor. Right, and we undid one step too many. So it's doing something now. What is it doing? Okay, in the meantime, let's just store our progress here. So It's already a JIT directory, so we're just going to add all of this. So we have a oh wait, echo target. At some point, we probably will need to backtrack, so it seems like a reasonable idea just to add a check mark to where we are now. Okay. If this would work, that would be great. Like, that really looks like exactly the kind of stuff we are trying to accomplish here. At the same time, I can't help feel skeptical. I'm so confused. I think it just said that it was in that one, but clearly not. Okay, let's just scroll back to the last time it worked and have a look at that. Okay, so it claims that it sees what the issue is here. I doubt it, but let's see. Still busy writing stuff. Or not. Definitely need to import that one. And let's see what else. I thought I imported that one. Yeah, we did import that one, so why is it complaining about that? Yeah, that's exactly the same one. Okay, let's see what Claude comes up with here. Okay, but this is the same error again, like we're no further. You'd think that it would be easy to just execute the code from as standalone, but clearly it's not easy enough that Claude can actually figure it out on its own. This was supposed to be a 5-minute video. Oh well, that's how it goes. Things are not always as easy as we want them to be. I just wonder what feature flags do we actually have for the Solana things? Maybe we need something that allows us to do tests or something. So where would this be? Solana program, Solana runtime. Solana program test. Let's see if this is a real thing or if it's a hallucination, which quite honestly happens quite often, that it comes up with stuff that is not entirely true. Okay, but this is a thing. So let's try to add it and see if we get things to... Oh, but maybe that explains why some of the other things did not work. Okay, but this seems like something we can fix. GX error. Hey, execution completed. Woohoo! So we now have a full example of how to run a Solana program in isolation. And this is great. So we can start spending our time now understanding how these things actually work, and we can start developing a much deeper understanding of what the API looks like, and even a simple thing like creating a emulator for Solana transactions is going to be a lot easier this way. So basically, we have now a full simulator where we can compile a program, load it into the VM, and then execute it, right? And this is super cool because now we can start experimenting with building programs, understand how do we dispatch different instructions, and what is the whole the whole idea behind how you run Solana programs without having to deploy it on a testnet, without having to run full nodes and all of that. So this is going to be super helpful. I think I'll stop the live stream here. If you have any comments, feel free to ask in the comment track below.